He aimed at a police dog and found out in the worst way. These guys posed as utility workers to rob this homeowner in this scary robbery. Let's get right to some of the craziest robberies, starting off with number 7, the split decision. Francisco Javier Galarza, a 49-year-old man with a lengthy criminal history, was pursued by Tucson police due to some warrants he had out linked to a home invasion and some bank robberies. Detectives spotted him leaving a Circle K store and attempted to arrest him, but Galarza immediately ran. Despite officers' commands to stop, he pulled a firearm from his bag as he fled, which ended up being a fatal mistake. Recognizing the danger, officers released Kiro, a police canine trained for situations just like this. The dog caught up with Galarza, bringing him to the ground, but the situation escalated further. Galarza, still holding his firearm, aimed it toward the officers and at Kiro. Officers responded by firing back to protect themselves and the canine, ultimately preventing Galarza from further escalation. First aid was administered, but he did not survive. This encounter marked the end of a long criminal history for Galarza. According to records, his convictions spanned decades, with charges for vehicle theft, illegal substances, and armed robbery. Over the years, he had served several prison sentences, including an 11-year term followed by 7 years, both related to armed robbery. Multiple law enforcement agencies are now reviewing the incident to determine if the response was appropriate given the circumstances. This is a sad reminder of the risks law enforcement officers face and the decisions they have to make in moments of real danger, especially when dealing with armed suspects who don't have anything to lose if it means getting away. Nonetheless, it's always a tragedy when someone needlessly loses their life over something that didn't need to happen. Number 6, veteran markers. Terry Wood, 53, and Breanna Puentez, 25, from Indiana, got felony charges for allegedly stealing bronze grave markers honoring veterans across LaPorte County, Indiana. Authorities believe the two took at least 15 markers from various cemeteries, reportedly targeting those with valuable bronze plaques, which can sell for thousands. Reports of missing markers began surfacing about a month before the two were caught, raising concerns among the community. LaPorte County Sheriff's Office launched an investigation led by Detective Jake Koch, himself a veteran, under the Operation Justice, Peace, and Salute. They encouraged locals to visit veteran burial sites, hoping to prevent further incidents and gather any potential leads. Just a day after the public appeal, authorities received a credible tip that identified a suspect. Following the lead, they located additional evidence at Woods' home, leading to his arrest. Puentez was taken into custody shortly afterward, charged alongside Wood for theft and cemetery mischief. Their actions disrupted multiple cemeteries, including Union Mills, Rolling Prairie, and Greenwood, where damaged markers were left as a reminder of the incidents. The sheriff's office condemned the thefts, expressing their determination to see justice served for the damage caused to memorials honoring veterans. As the investigation unfolded, the arrests offered some reassurance to the community, with authorities stating that they hope these arrests bring a sense of peace to the families affected by these actions. As of the release of this video, Woods is being held on a $15,005 cash-only bond, while Puentez, who had bond conditions from a previous case, remains without bond. It's ridiculous what people will steal anymore, isn't it? It was already crazy that businesses are getting copper piping from their water main stolen from outside the building and copper coils from their air conditioning units on their roofs. And now, people are legit going to cemeteries and stealing veterans' gravestones for the metal? We're like, yeah, that's nuts. But it may be telling about Western society that we're not all that surprised either. Number 5, the olive oil bandits. A group of unknown thieves managed to steal $2.5 million worth of premium olive oil from a Houston warehouse. The heist targeted Terra Delissa, a popular brand known for its organic, high-quality olive oil. But this wasn't just any ordinary burglary. These thieves took off with 18 truckloads filled with 29 pallets, each holding hundreds of bottles of olive oil. So, how was this crazy heist even possible? The warehouse, which apparently was shut down because of going out of business, didn't have any operational security cameras. Without this critical layer of protection, the thieves pulled off the massive haul without a trace. CHO America, the company behind Terra Delissa, eventually realized something was wrong when they received a report that some of their high-end products were showing up in stores where they weren't supposed to be. When CHO America's owner, Wajid Rekic, looked into it, he was stunned to find photos confirming his olive oil had been stolen and resold. The company's trackable lot numbers even helped them locate one pallet at a Houston store, offering it a suspiciously low price, a clear sign that the oil had been diverted from its original retail path. Typically priced between $15 to $27 a bottle, Terra Delissa olive oil is a premium product, so seeing it at half or even a quarter of the usual price is an unexpected blow to the brand. This price drop not only impacts CHO America's profits, but could harm the brand's reputation in the market, as the same quality product is being sold at a discount rate that suggests something off about the supply. As of the release of this video, Rekic is still determined to recover his product and hopes store owners will report any suspiciously low offers on Terra Delissa bottles. Maybe this theft will serve as a lesson in the importance of investing in good security, because nowadays, people will steal literally anything and everything with even a little bit of value attached to it. Number 4. Beverly Hills robbery update. Here's an update on Jobson Marangoni de Castro from Beverly Hills, a jewel thief who has pleaded guilty to transporting stolen luxury goods across state lines. Authorities say de Castro's scheme involved swiping high-end items worth $1.8 million from a couple visiting from Brazil. But his bold plan was bound to fail, as he was eventually caught in Miami. This story begins at a Beverly Hills hotel where de Castro managed to convince an unsuspecting hotel employee to hand over a room key. Once inside, he made off with 6 suitcases filled with high-end jewelry, designer clothing, and accessories, all while the owners were out for dinner. When the couple returned, they found their valuables gone and immediately notified hotel staff, kicking off a search that led investigators across state lines. A week later, de Castro was in Miami, ready to turn his stolen haul into cash. He reached out to a buyer on Instagram, offering a diamond necklace and a luxury watch, both conveniently similar to the items taken in Beverly Hills. De Castro spun a story about finding the jewelry in a box belonging to his late mother, claiming he didn't have any papers to back up its origins. The buyer, convinced enough to proceed, wired de Castro $50,000, and they arranged to meet at the buyer's Miami store to complete the exchange. In an attempt to cover his tracks, de Castro used the alias Jobs Marangoni, the same name linked to his Uber account in Beverly Hills. Investigators quickly connected his alias back to his Uber history, uncovering a clear trail despite his minimal efforts to stay under the radar. Within a few months, authorities had tracked him down, and he landed in federal custody. De Castro was sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison, along with having to pay back $1.6 million in restitution. His alias has to be one of the least conspicuous ones we've ever heard, though. Jobs Marangoni? Sounds like some kind of mafia guy nickname, doesn't it? Hey, we got Polly One Eye, Vinny the Shark, and Jobs Marangoni. Jobs Marangoni, what's he do? He does jobs. Don't ask questions. Seriously, you read that name and you're like, that dude's a criminal. Number 3, flash mob heist. A group of about 20 individuals stormed a jewelry store in Northern California, taking everything in sight. The incident, caught on security cameras, involved a bold smash and grab at P&G Jewelers in Sunnyvale. Hey, surprise, surprise, another story about people stealing a bunch of stuff in Northern Cali. The footage shows masked and hooded individuals wielding hammers to break through the glass doors. Once inside, they went straight for the display cases, smashing them open and quickly filling bags and backpacks with jewelry. One individual even used a large sledgehammer, working with both hands to break open a particularly tough case. Within minutes, the store was nearly empty. Some left quickly with their loot, but others took extra time to grab as much as they could. As they rushed out, a store employee emerged from a back room, visibly stunned as she took in the destruction around her. Police arrived at the scene shortly afterward and managed to catch 5 of the suspects, who had remained in the area for whatever stupid reason. Officers spotted 2 getaway cars, but only one could be pursued, where suspects allegedly tossed stolen jewelry from the vehicle before abandoning it and attempting to flee on foot. The 5 individuals were eventually apprehended: Tonga Latu, Tavakia Safi, Ofa Ohamana, Kalifi Leatoa, and Afuhi Lavakeo, and taken to Santa Clara County Jail, facing charges including robbery, vehicle evasion, and vandalism. While some stolen items were recovered, the total value of the jewelry taken remains unknown. The idea of having a ton of people do a smash and grab seems like a huge gamble, doesn't it? With that many people in the same place committing the same crime, it's almost a guarantee that at least one of them is going to get caught. And when they are, it's a matter of time before everyone else does. 5 people are probably going to get away, but 20? No chance. Number 2. Fake repairman. An unnamed Bronx man went through a frightening experience when 2 men arrived at his apartment posing as repairmen sent to fix a supposed leak. They seemed legitimate, and the 43-year-old tenant allowed them inside without a second thought. But as soon as they were through the door, the situation took a wild turn. Once inside, the so-called repairmen dropped the act. One of them held a knife to the guy's throat, while the other bound his hands with duct tape, leaving him helpless. With the man restrained, the pair moved quickly. They used a crowbar to break into a locked room where they found a safe. Inside, they discovered $30,000 in cash, along with an iPad and the man's passport, valuable items that would make their getaway worthwhile. After securing their loot, the imposters fled on foot, disappearing before anyone could notice the crime in progress. Police are actively investigating the case and have since released surveillance footage capturing the suspects on their phones inside the building and on the sidewalk. As of the release of this video, the 2 men remain unidentified and at large. The freaky thing about this one is that we would all fall for it, right? If you've ever lived in an apartment, you know stuff like this happens all the time. And depending on how reliable your front office is, you may or may not be notified. It's a good reminder that if someone shows up at your apartment door claiming to be maintenance, probably call the office before you let them in. Number 1. Fake utility workers. Hussein Murray, a 72-year-old jewelry store owner, experienced a terrifying incident that left a lasting impact on his Detroit neighborhood. Known for his successful business and active role in the community, Murray had no reason to expect that the 2 guys, later identified as Carlos Hernandez and Joshua Zuazo, showing up at his house were anything other than what they claimed to be: utility workers. Tragically, they weren't. Doorbell footage, later released by police, captured the 2 men dressed as energy company workers. They arrived in high-visibility vests and face masks, carrying clipboards to lend credibility to their story. One of them announced confidently that they were there to check for gas leaks, while his partner seemed to stand guard nearby. Their presence was initially dismissed as routine, but they would return the next day to carry out a plan with devastating consequences. When they returned the next day, Murray allowed the men into the house, leading them down to the basement to check for the supposed gas leak. His wife waited upstairs, but as time dragged on without any sign of her husband, her concern grew. So she tried to go down and check on him, but one of the men stopped her. Instead, she was restrained, ending up bound with duct tape. Later, when authorities arrived, they found her and went to the basement, where they eventually found Murray's lifeless body. Police haven't yet released full details on what exactly happened to Murray due to the severity of the injuries. Sheriff Michael Bouchard noted the scene was too distressing to immediately determine the exact nature of what happened. But whatever it was, it sounds pretty bad. The suspects fled the area, leaving behind clues, but no certainty on their identities. Thankfully, since the initial investigation, police made significant progress in identifying and capturing the suspects, identified as Carlos Hernandez and Joshua Zuazo, both from Dearborn, Michigan. Surveillance footage captured the 2 disguised as utility workers, and license plate recognition technology helped trace the white pickup truck they drove, a vehicle equipped with distinctive orange cones. Witness tips and additional public support following the release of images further narrowed the search. As of the release of this video, the suspects are in custody, facing felony charges. Murray's family and the community hope for justice and healing after this tragic loss. Incidents like this are an example of a concerning trend of criminals using disguises to gain access to homes. When someone unexpectedly shows up at your door, verify the identities of people claiming to be service personnel or law enforcement before letting them in. A quick call, as silly as it may feel to some, could end up saving your life. Click to watch one of these next videos.